So yeah, I've done obviously I did the top indie fragrances of 2023 a few weeks ago. I just thought I'd do a general top list, not including any of the indie ones. No point repeating them, is there? Just kind of my fragrant discoveries of that year. I don't think there's many new, as in new out that year, but there are obviously ones that I've discovered specifically in 2023. And I'm not going to waffle on because I've got a video either coming or I've already done it where I have a bit of a moan. Fragrance hasn't, I mean, last year was a particularly bad year, worse than the bloody COVID, wasn't it, really? For interesting and creativity, I've tried quite a few designers and stuff. Nah, man, nah. I mean, they all smell exactly the same. It's that kind of toffee caramel. There's still a few blue ones out there, and the shampoo kind of fragrances are making a comeback, aren't they? Nah, mate. I mean, the new Amouage. Again, no. The King Oud Blue. As much as I love that brand, please don't let this be the direction of a kind of sweet, generic oud. Kind of, you're better than that. Let's get some creativity back in 2024, I hope. Anyway, that's my little random. I shall just pick 10 at random, they're not in order. So I'm going to start with my most recent, and that was a gifter bottle from Ormonde Jayne. Sent me some travel sizes to try out, and the one I kind of clicked with the first lot with was called that Nawab of Oudh, and I really quite like that one. So how do you explain it? It's really hard to explain, actually. There is a kind of slight woody feel in there, but it's mainly all about the spices, like bright spices. There's a sparkler citrus at the beginning. The pimento is quite prominent. But what it reminds me of, particularly, is my friend used to go home to Pakistan, and she used to bring me back these little kind of sachets of sweets. I suppose the breath sweets, and in them they'd have things like fennel, cumin seeds or jeera seeds, anise, maybe little bits of that, little sticks of licorice and stuff in them, and they were just absolutely gorgeous and had a kind of woody sweetness. They weren't like, you know, laden with sugar and stuff like that. And that is absolutely what this fragrance reminds me of. Now, they did send me a bottle, which was very generous. Again, it was gifted, I'm not going to fib. And they sent the Intenso version, and my word, yes, that is next level. It's what the difference is. I don't know what the difference means really, particularly. I presume maybe it's a bit stronger, but it's much kind of smoother, and the kind of, I suppose what they've done is the kind of more sparkly aspect is rounded off, and it's kind of much more of a kind of spicy scent with the deeper spices and a deeper kind of resinous kind of feel to it. Oh goodness me, it's a damn dog. So yeah, and it's over the kind of, like I say, a kind of, whether it's oud or not, it might be, it might have elements of oud in it, or the accord. It's very beautiful. It's very kind of classy, and it's not like any of the others. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's stiff from them or anything like that. A fantastic fragrance. So that's Nawab of Oudh from Ormonde Jayne. So yeah, next we'll get the two Amouages out of the way. First, and it was last year, probably early on though, was Silver Oud, Opus 13. And that was kind of the one I fell in love with from from the newer releases. This is like your proper more Omani kind of Middle Eastern style oud. The oud runs right through it. It does begin and it's can be quite strong in the beginning, although more of where it wore it, the less I kind of notice it, and that kind of develops into a kind of more woody, classy elegance in there. And also in there is a nice kind of silvery birch. Now you get the smokiness and the woodiness, but it gives this kind of, hence the name, this kind of silver aura around it all. Maybe there are some iris and stuff in there. There will be some florals, but maybe the rose is what you get the most. It's not like a rose oud one. It suits the name. It's just very classy and very elegant. I thought, to be honest, I'd probably own this by the end of the year. However, the price of it's never really gone down. It's the only one where it hasn't. So I suspect what that means is this is one of them that's very worth its price. If it's not kind of appearing in discounters and stuff like that, it's fantastic. Yeah, nothing to complain about from it. Just a very classy, elegant, sophisticated. Is it fresh? Just a vibrant oud, if you like, and smoky and rich, and it's your traditional kind of Amouage, if you like. So that's a Opus 13 silver oud from Amouage. Next, the other Amouage is Fate. This was sadly discontinued. I think again I sampled it earlier in the year, and oh wow, this is has a nod to things like opium and cocoa. It's that kind of 80s-ish kind of classic floral, beautiful one. It's mainly, well, for quite a bit of time, the narcissus is kind of your main flower, with the jasmine, and it's got the rich spices and so yeah, as I was saying, it's kind of that vintage kind of big 80s style fragrance. I think it was out in 2019, something like that, but it's obviously got the Amouage effect to it, the warm resins, the kind of tiny hint of incense, and that the beautiful musks and then rich warm spices. They've managed to kind of embody all of them kind of classic florals we loved of that time, and just Amouage them, made them opulent and beautiful and elegant, and it's a fantastic fragrance. I am so glad I managed to find a bottle of it. So yeah, that's Amouage's Fate. This next one was influenced by obviously our good posh friend Rose and Jones Elizabeth, and that is Lolita Lempicka, the EDT, and this was one that she'd sent me a sample of, and it's magnificent. It's a slightly different version of obviously the EDP, but this one's kind of, if you like, it's obviously it's an EDT, but it's a fresher feeling one, but it's got more of a sparkle, more of a kind of whimsical magic, you know, the stars flashing in the air and stuff. I have to stop filming this at some point. It's too dark. But the star anise is more the star of the show, with the licorice is still kind of there underneath, but it's not one of the main. It's not one of the main parts of it. And the violet is not as deep and purple and rich. It's definitely got more of a lighter, it's still a bit powdery, but kind of like actually picking fresh violet flowers. I can't see the path at all here, as you can probably tell, and it's just beautiful, magnificent, very well done. The musks are more kind of airy again and powdery. There isn't aldehydes in this or anything ozonic, but it definitely has that kind of beautiful feel about it. So if you like the original a lot, but you want to be able to wear it on a hotter day in the summer or whenever, this version is the version. So that's Lolita Lempicka's EDT. So next up of the best I'd tried of 2023 is from Electimuss, from a gifted discovery set. And one I think I've really kind of liked from them is Persephone's Patchouli. And obviously the story of this one is obviously appealing and that, isn't it? But it's basically it's rose and plum and patchouli, you know, mainly. And it's kind of these go together really nicely. It's kind of got more of a fruity edge with the plum, and that makes the rose kind of a little bit fruity. It's kind of a darkness about it, but the patchouli serves as an earthy element, and as it develops, and maybe probably from the fruits, isn't it, and the plum and that, it does tend to get more and more boozy hint there. It's just this beautiful fruity patchouli. It's not your Coco Mademoiselle. The patchouli plays much more of a stronger role in it, and there's a lot more going on. There's obviously floral elements and musks and that, but they're kind of the three main elements. And I think the plum and the patchouli is something I've not really smelt much together, and it's really quite beautiful. Now obviously keeping these brief, it's a gorgeous fragrance. So that's Persephone's Patchouli from Electimuss. And then from another gifted discovery set is Mariya from Oman Luxury, and this again is similar. It's a kind of patchouli, fruity floral patchouli, and with a bit of oud in there. Now it's the oud is a little bit naughty in stages. It doesn't last that long. Then it becomes that kind of caramelly oud, where it's not too dominant, because I'm not a big fan of them, but it's kind of woody, sweet smoothness through it all. Obviously the patchouli helps this, but again it's the fruits that really sing, and it does kind of remind me a little bit of Coco Mademoiselle. It's not the same, and another fragrance as well kind of mixes with. There's some other things going on in it. I think there might be some kind of darker spices and things, and it's just really quite magnificent. And also because of the rose, which is quite a dominant floral in it, it does have this noir de noir feel. Again, it'll be the rose, patchouli and the oud, with a kind of sweeter oud feel, and that mixed with Coco Mademoiselle makes it. Doesn't smell like them both, by the way. It's just what it reminds me of. It just creates heaven. It is absolutely gorgeous. So it's like them, you know, with the kind of the fruity edge. The rose is a bit brighter. It's a bit musky. It's just an absolutely stunning scent. Probably my favourite I've tried from Oman Luxury, I think. Just beautiful, and Angnam was really good as well, but talking about that. So yeah, Mariya from Oman Luxury. One last one from Electimuss, again gifted discovery set, and I had to mention this is Vici leather. I think again with Persephone's Patchouli, just my favourite. Vici leather, obviously the clue's in the name. It's leather, but it's got all these gorgeous kind of smooth parts to it. Now I'd say more suede than leather. There is a bit of a kind of naughty animalic there in the background, again from the leather, and it does dry down to have a little green tinge from the leather. But actually where the magic's at, there's some spices in there. There's some cinnamon, and is it tarragon or wormwood, something like that, giving it a slight anise touch in there, and it's beautiful. It's all like, you know, as we know, my favourite kind of spicy touches, the florals. I think there might be some orange blossom in there, mixing with the leather. So it is a more fruity leather, but it's not particularly, you know, like a lot of them out there. And it's just a great fragrance. Again, I'm not going to waffle on. So that is Vici leather. Oh, also in the dry down, it is worth mentioning, the musks in this one are it becomes very sensual and just beautiful. So yeah, Vici leather from Electimuss. Then from Guerlain we have Oud Khol. Now I've struggled with a lot of Guerlain's more recent releases. They've been very Guerlain, quite dull, not particularly interesting or exciting, and just, yeah, I've never much of a muchness that I've never seen the point of releasing. Now Oud Khol is quite something different, and the clues in the name, it does have this kind of coal feel about it, and like anthracite kind of coal. But don't worry about that. It has a lighter kind of clean touch because there's aldehydes in it. It gives a slight soapiness, and there's lavender in there, which again, it's a dry lavender, but it gives it a lift, and it's just a really interesting mix. And you really can imagine like smelling a lump of coal. The oud has there is a more, to some people, what they call challenging hint of it in the beginning. I wouldn't say so, but it might not be for everyone. But it's just a really interesting fragrance. The thing that I think I enjoy most about it is it's so very not Guerlain. It's interesting. There's another one they have that doesn't smell like Guerlain's. I can't off the top of my head what it is, but don't get me wrong, it's still got, I would think, vanilla. There's probably tonka in there, but that's not what it smells of. It's a really interesting one, and if it wasn't in the ridiculously priced for no reason category, I'd be tempted by this one, to be honest. So that's Oud Khol from Guerlain. And whilst we're on Guerlain, I may as well go for another one that I discovered this year that I hadn't smelt beforehand. Is French Kiss. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this. I think we all pretty much know it. Discontinued now, sadly. And this is your, as the name would imply, your kind of lipsticky one. It's rose, violet, vanilla. It's still, this one obviously has got that Guerlain feel in it. But again, toned down. The Guerlain is more in the background, and it's predominantly, it's much more rosy than other scents of a similar kind of profile. It's very pink smelling. There's the petally smooth kind of feel. I think there might be raspberry or something giving it that lovely fruity touch about it, with the rose. But it's like a pink luxurious rose, like you're literally rubbing rose petals on your lips, and there's a nice muskiness. The tonka and the vanilla give it not just its kind of Guerlain, but gives it, you know, a bit of body texture and that. But it's the powderiness, the muskiness, the rose petaliness that is what I most love about it. So that is French Kiss from Guerlain. Then probably should have been in the indie, but isn't, but it's niche, so whatever. Is Freddie Albrighton's Last Minute Change of Heart. Now I've tried over the time many bubblegum scents, wanting that bubblegum feel, and some of them, to be quite frank, have been absolutely, utterly horrific. I mean horrific. They've started off promising, you know, with that juicy kind of fruity bubblegummy feel, but yeah, they've not lived up to it. Now Freddie's is quite simplistic. It opens with a kind of fruitiness, beautiful big bubble gum, like a hubba bubba kind of thing, fruity, juicy. It's still very much a perfume. I think there's some sort of patchouli earthiness or something, like you've dropped the bubble gum and you put it back in your mouth, and there's a little bit of that kind of earthy feel and that. But it is what it says on the tin. It's this fun, nostalgic, taking you back, blowing your big bubbles that, you know, are the size of your face, kind of being young and youthful with these gorgeous. I mean, I'm pretty sure as well that the fruits change. Like it's quite a red chewy one when it opens, and it kind of goes through different colours, like a more yellowy kind of orangey fruit, etc. To me anyway. And I just think it's, if you're looking for a bubblegum fragrance, an authentic one, this is the one. Some of the other, I'm trying to think which one it was that was just truly horrific. One of them opened up really lovely, and then it just turned into a hellish Kashmiran bomb, which was just choking. And no, but yeah, Freddie Albrighton, last minute change of heart. And finally, again, I'm not sure what year this was out, but I smelt it this year, and that's Zoologist's Harvest Mouse. Now this is exactly how you'd expect it to smell. It's kind of you know, wheat and barley and that kind of things. It's very golden smelling. There's a nice patchouli earthiness in there. There's also hops, so it doesn't smell of beer, but you get that kind of dry hoppiness that makes you think of the kind of beer and stuff. And it's also, there's bits, hints of something, a nutty kind of feel. There is a slight boozy loveliness in there, but predominantly it's this golden, dry, beautiful. You can see a harvest field and where the little mouse lives and that. There's some fruits in there. Is it plum or something? Well, no, I shouldn't research these things. It's good that I try and remember. There is a little bit of a fruitiness in there. That's potentially where the boozy feel comes from. But it's magnificent. It does smell of autumn. It does smell of the golden fields that have been baking in the sun and all of that. Lovely one. So that's Zoologist's Harvest Mouse. Yeah, I wanted to keep this as short as possible. Obviously it started off in the dark, so it's a bit disjointed, but yeah, I've smelt some really good stuff over the last year. Mainly the indie stuff has been the stuff that's appealed to me, but there's still some really good niche stuff out there, designer wise. Not to say there's no great designers, but I haven't smelt any that leap to mind when making this. But of course there are. There's always, you know, something for everyone, isn't there? It's not all, we don't all have exactly the same taste and things like that, and I'm not saying anything's bad. And of course I could have put more Amouages in here, which I discovered over the year. But again, that's my house of discovery, hasn't it been, over the last year? And there's some gems and classics in there. Don't know where I'm going to go next year and what I'm going to be sniffing and interested in, but it'll be a joy. What about you? What's the best niche designer for you this year? Have you made any great discoveries? Have you made none? I mean, that's completely possible that you just haven't liked anything you've smelt this year. What has anything really overexcited you in that? Have you gone in a new direction? Anyway, yeah, I'm waffling. Right folks, thanks, bye.